Hey everybody, it's Christine. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I have a new layout using the Simple Stories Jingle All the Way collection. Simple Stories has a couple of different Christmas collections out this year, including a simple vintage one and this one. And then they have Winter Cottage, which is a winter, but also has some Christmas themes to it. So lots of great options. And if you don't love one, you might love another. In my case, of course, I just like Simple Stories, period. So if it's got Simple Stories designing it, I'm in. So this one, I am again using the tag paper from this collection. I've used tag paper from several of their collections over the last few months. In fact, I probably should create a playlist of their tag papers. So for today, I really was like, okay, don't use the tag paper, but I couldn't resist. So the idea that I had was to create a big tree. Now, you know, this is something, again, that I do a lot of in the Christmas season. In fact, yesterday I had a video where I created a tree. I had one a couple weeks ago that I created a tree. So I'm going to have to put some restrictions on myself. But hopefully I'm giving you some inspiration on number one, how to use tags in a variety of ways. And number two, how to create Christmas trees in a variety of ways. So what you can see is that I am layering these. I started at the top and I'm using the top corner on the next row as my guide. So I line up the top left corner with the left-hand side of the tag, and I line up the top right corner with the right-hand side. And then I work my way down doing that. And the middle is kind of just sort of following some lines, but a lot of just kind of guesswork as well. You can see that I am using a ton of tags. So in all, I ended up using 2 entire sheets of this specific patterned paper. And honestly, I probably could have used a third and made the tree even bigger. But I used what I had until I ran out. And you'll see I even had to do some adjusting on the bottom layer just to make it work. So the top layers are very heavy in how many tags are in each row. And you can see you've got a lot of really cool patterns and a really unique look. Now, if you're looking at it and going, what in the world, why are you doing it on a chocolate brown paper? There is no chocolate brown in this collection. You are totally correct. I am literally just using this paper to build my tree, and then I'm going to cut it out. I didn't want to start on the paper that I was planning to use for my base because I was afraid I would get it off center or something. And so that's just a good tip when you're building something like this and you can't totally predict where things are going to land because it's not perfectly geometric and symmetrical and all that stuff. Then build it on another paper and cut it out, because that just saves you the headache of if it lands in a totally wonky direction or not straight or any of those things. You can cover it up because you can move it easily. I mean, you can always move it, but easily is the key word here. Now, for my base on the layout, I am going to use it's the Color Vibe papers, the basics that go with the Simple Vintage collection. That is that white paper. I liked it because it has a little bit of gray mixed media on it. And so it just is a nice background without being stark white. And then I placed that onto this really gorgeous buffalo plaid patterned paper and used that for an outline. And I took about 1.5 inches off of my white paper. Now you can see I'm going to put that tree just smack dab in the center, just like I've done on my other ones. When something's working, it's hard to go away from it. So I'm putting it on there, and I am kind of right now just trying to eyeball and make sure that things are pretty straight. Obviously, because I hand cut all these tags out, there's some crooked lines, etc. And so I'm just right now trying to make sure it's as good as I can get it. Because it's not, it's not cut by a machine. It's not going to be completely 100% perfect. Now you can see there at the bottom, I have 2 tags and they're a little more spread out. And then I'm going to line the bottom of my tree with this buffalo plaid scallop border that comes from the cardstock stickers. I will be moving some more tags down to that bottom row once I determine where exactly I want to put my pictures. So I just basically built until I ran out. And then I knew that when I put my pictures on, I would be covering some tags up so I'd have room to move later. Like I said, if you were going to purchase this paper specifically to do this, I'd go ahead and get 3 sheets just to be safe. Pattern paper is cheap and you can really make it stretch. And so if you use it for this, and then you can save it for Christmas tags for next year. That's the other nice thing about these papers is you can actually use them for literal Christmas tags. Now, I pulled out the chipboard frames and I went ahead and printed my pictures so that they were 3x4 size. And then I tucked them into this really pretty green chipboard frame. One of the things I love about these chipboard frames is very often they will work for a couple of different things. Number one, they add great dimension. Number two, a lot of times they have words on them that can work for a title. So like in this case, I don't have a lot of room for a big, bold title. So just a little simple one that's already worked into the frame is exactly perfect and what I needed. The other thing that I love is that because of the dimension, because of the color, they really pull your eye in to focus on the pictures. So they really help to keep the pictures as a focal point. And so that is a great addition. I love that Simple Stories is having so many chipboard frames within their collections now. Definitely one of the first products I look at as I begin to build my layout. Now, my final step is going to be to add some embellishments. You can see that I used some of the foam sticker poinsettias on my tree, both at the top to kind of be the tree topper, and then I'll use them in a couple spots working their way down the tree. I'm also going to use these hearts that you can see, and I am going to use hearts from the foam stickers. I'm going to use some cardstock stickers, and I'm going to use the new little puffy stickers as well. And all of those, I'm just going to create a horizontal cluster going across about a third of the way from the top of the layout. And then that will just kind of be like a twinkly look, if you will. And then I'm going to add some Nuvo drops to finish the whole thing off. So really simple when it comes to embellishing. I talk about this all the time. When you do a complicated background, you can take it down a notch on your embellishing. And so really my embellishing was very minimal. The bulk of my time was spent building this tag tree. Now I've added those Nuvo drops in that horizontal cluster. Now I'm going to just go up and down the layout and add some throughout to kind of almost mimic the look of snow or confetti, that kind of thing. And again, this is something I've been doing on several layouts lately. It'll be interesting to see what happens when I shift to full-on winter scrapbooking and away from Christmas. What's going to come out and what trends am I going to be sticking with on that? So this is, again, the Jingle All the Way collection from Simple Stories. Be sure to hop on over to their blog and check out my close-ups. And be sure to hit subscribe here if you haven't already. Thanks so much for stopping by today. And we will see you again soon with some more Christmas layouts.